What kind of work do you do?
Well, I actually just went live on YouTube, so I'll have to talk to you after I get off the live chat, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's no need to apologize. Hello, everyone. I am here at the High-Low Motel, and I'm a little late because I was all set up at that table over there, and then some people were sat really close to me, and I'm like, oh, they're probably not going to want to hear me going on during their conversation, so I'll move over to a different table. Hopefully you are doing well. It's a pretty nice day outside, except for it's cold and it is snowing now. I wanted to mention Robert got me this beautiful mug. I absolutely love it. If you live under a rock, you might not know that I love hot tea. So I have a lot of mugs. I've been starting a mug collection and I'm super excited. I love this. So thank you, Robert. Hi, Kyle. How's it going? Another thing that I wanted to mention is the what is it called? Square off chessboard. I want to get the actual name right. I know it's square off, but it is a rollable electronic chessboard, and it is really, really cool. It was sent to me by a secret admirer who wishes to remain anonymous. So I wanted to say thank you. It'd be really cool if I can actually do a video of it in the future, but I have some internet issues at home. But anyways, I was using it, and it was really, really cool because you can actually play against AI. And get to have the over-the-board experience without having to find people to play with. Obviously, there are people around here to play with, but when I'm at home, it is really, really fun to be able to have an over-the-board experience. And just recently, I kind of rekindled my love for doing chess puzzles over the board at home. I just turned on my music really loud and was kind of set up the chess puzzle and was dancing around and just having a really good time and entertaining myself. So yeah. Obviously it's really cool that you can play people all over the world online, but there's definitely a difference between the gameplay that you'll have clicking buttons on your phone and actually, moving pieces and hitting a clock and, all of that. Even just looking at the pieces and seeing it's just a totally different thing. So yes, hi David D. David D says hi. Yes, over the board is best, especially for chess puzzles. Exactly, and playing moves at a master level. Yes. So yeah, I'm really excited about the chess set. Thank you to the person that sent it to me. And I'm not sure that I have anything else really to say about the topic. I love this mug. It also has constellations around the inside. Very cool. So I wanted to talk today about the nature of our reality, and it is not going to be the same thing that you hear from other gurus. You're not going to hear from anybody else because I didn't these aren't things that I am looking online and listening to videos and stuff, learning from other people. This stuff. Oh, thank you, David. David says I'm looking great. Thank you. I am basically focusing on meditation and channeling and trying to find answers directly rather than watching a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff. So, anyways, starting actually at the beginning is where I differ from other gurus. A lot of people think that source is this entity. They try to connect to source. They give all these attributes to it as if it is an actual soul. I believe that source is actually a point in time. And we can't go back. You can't go back in time. You can't go forward in time. Time is linear, and there is a cyclical nature to it, but you can't go back. You can't time travel. Time travel is science fiction. In order to like physically time travel, you'd have to actually have physical reality. Like the mother would have to change herself, right? Like if you wanted to time travel to the time when the mountains were ancient trees, like she would actually have to become that, and that's not what she's gonna do. Like, sorry to burst your bubble if that's what you wanted, but yeah.
I was like, I just keep going.
Mount Shasta was once a giant tree. They try to say that she's a volcano, and they can even go to like really great lengths of lava and putting various smells out. Like I've never personally tried to go into the caverns or in the volcano, but I know that there are like certain smells that are associated with volcanoes and all this stuff. Um, they can do so much fakery to basically solidify the lie, right? They go through great extents on every single front to deceive us at every level, right? It's like they don't just put the spinning globe in the Disney movie. It's like everywhere that you look, they're constantly trying to solidify the programming. And history is just the same, right? It's not just that we've been lied to about science, we've been lied to about religion, we've been lied to about history too. Duh. History, as we know it, is a lie. And I want to mention one thing about the mud floods. Recently, they've been like, I'm not like laughing about it because it's like my whole property basically is turning into a muddy mush mess, and I've never experienced anything like this. Like the thing that was channeled to me is that they can use different frequencies and actually change the nature of the mother. So they could use a certain frequency to make the ground like so hard that you can't even dig in. Like I've experienced that. They've really done that over the past few years. They've made the ground almost impossible to grow. They don't want you to be able to grow your own things, especially around Mount Shasta. They're trying to drive every real human out so that inverts can come in. They're, deliberately light fires to drive your humans out, right? The house burned down and all this stuff. So now you have to find somewhere to live. And if you want to live in that same location, you have to jump through all of these hoops to try to get a building back on that establishment. Like in California, they make it so hard. Like I'm pretty sure everywhere they have, building codes and stuff, and a building department that you'd have to deal with and submit building plans. But it's like in California, they make it so hard. You have to pay at every point. And then because of these wildfires, right, you have to have like a multi-$1,000 sprinkler system and all of these other code things. And they're trying to push like solar and other green technology as requirements, right? So they're making it as impossible as they can for humans to come here, pushing us out. And, it is a battle. So just warning anyone, like Mount Shasta is heaven, but also right now it's hell because it's a battlefield. Like they know how powerful Mount Shasta is. So especially if you're coming here to fight for the light, just be ready because it's not going to be easy. Yes. Okay.
How's your friend?
David says it first was, not is. I agree. Even if the mother did that in regards to going back in time, I believe, and becoming what once was, every soul in her would have to consent to. Yes, frequencies can modify the ground super hard or super soft, flowing like water. Oh, yeah. So, what I was saying about the mud flood, it's like they've up until like just recently, it's been like trying to even plant my potatoes. Like the ground is so hard to dig. I can't even like explain to you how incredibly hard it is. It's like you're trying to chip away at rock almost. It's obviously not a solid rock, but it's like you're just chipping as hard at this stuff as you can. How can anybody plant anything in that? But now they they actually have been doing all sorts of drought too. Like the rivers, lakes, and stuff have actually dried up. I took Sage when Sage was here. I took him to Lake Shastina, which is right down the road from the golf course in my house. And when I first got to Mount Shasta, it was like a regular lake. And then when me and Sage went there, we literally saw cows grazing in what once was the lake. And he pulled out his Nikon P900 and it was really cool. I got to zoom in and see the cows. I love cows so much, and it just breaks my heart that I treated them so badly as a non-vegan, and I really feel responsible to go above and beyond to make a paradise for the cows in the future and make sure that they are taken care of. They're so precious. Okay. California is the worst, David says. Yes, in many ways. And like I said, they know how powerful the root is. So I've said this analogy so many times. The root of the tree is going to affect the condition of the whole tree. So if the root is healthy and pure and full of good humans that are doing what is good, then it's going to have an effect on the whole world. And if it is full of inverts and CIA hippie acid cults that completely control humans using the best acid and these, classic, if you think of these old school hippie drum circles, that's what they're doing here to control real humans. Anyways, that is one of the reasons, or one of the ways they've kept it so dark. They make it really expensive around here so that real humans can't afford to live around here. And that's what David E. is saying. California is so expensive, only the inverts can afford to come here, right? Drought, shorter growing season, chemtrails, all designed to create famine. Yes. So if you're listening to me, please prepare for famine, not just famine. They've already started with pestilence, right? And they're going to continue to modify viruses and send them out on a, not a basis like the cold flu season, right? But more frequently as we continue on into the depopulation event. They're going to be sending more out. So you need to purify your diet and, do what you can to make your terrain as pure as possible so that your immune system will fight off any diseases. And for a lot, that will be, raw vegan. But for those who can't, I have told you about keto vegan before. You can start healing as a keto vegan and use the ketosis survival mechanisms to start healing from those very serious diseases. I know it's going to be hard, especially for you guys that are like me that love sugar. We've been probably broken from such a young age to love sugar, and it's killing us. So for those that are listening that are having serious health issues, go keto vegan like right now. It's unfortunate that so many people find healing through carnivore keto, and basically they're healed from their diseases using this black magic, and then they continue down that path because it's what healed them from diabetes or cancer or whatnot. But they're literally corrupting their soul. They're prematurely aging themselves. Like, they're doing so much damage by eating animals. So COVID-19. When is this going to... Oh, Kyle says, I miss having the spring water in Shasta. Yes, we are definitely blessed here, Kyle. And once I get my sanctuary set up, I am going to be having Kyle potentially come out if he is interested to oversee some things here and create a golden age with the people that I actually trust. And, the golden age is going to start in Mount Shasta, and at any point it could happen, and I'm really excited about it. I know that there are a lot of things in the works that could potentially happen within the next few weeks to really kickstart the golden age, so I'm super, super excited about it. So as much as I am trying to fight for the golden age, obviously they're trying to keep their power and keep control of the mountain, and So it's fun fight. Kubi says, when is this going to happen? Well, all these things are already happening. The pestilence has already started. They have already basically warned the public through even the UN and other sources, like a famine of biblical proportions is coming, because even just looking at the stuff that happened with COVID, like them backing up all of the distribution and all this food getting destroyed, and at the same time, like farms are going out of business and the powers that be are buying them up. Like there's so many different things that are going on to create the disaster that's coming. And then they can basically point to COVID and blame natural circumstances for the famine instead of themselves getting blamed, right? That's always, they have convinced people that their own bodies are responsible for COVID. I gotta be careful of what I say because I don't want to get banned. Your body cannot make a virus, okay? Exosomes are not viruses. These people are, I just had to not get banned. They are evil geniuses, and they are creating things, and just like they create viruses for your computer, okay? Your computer doesn't just like, oh, it's detoxing, so it got viruses. Like, that is so goofy. Anyways, that's not good. Let's not get banned. David D says it is happening. Shelves already empty in many stores in regards to the famine. Yes, it is definitely happening all around us and very noticeable. Nothing since COVID, basically, it's never been that everything is restocked. It's always constantly something is not here. Hey, Sage, how's it going? Sage says, la la la, can't hear you, la la la, David D, because David D says sugar is poison and keto will heal anything. Make sure it's vegan keto, because keto will not heal your soul, but vegan keto can help heal your soul. David D says, Sage, they put sugar in everything. It's extremely hard to go into ketosis, but your body will heal any issues and your mind will work faster. Better chest. Ooh, who is not incentivized by that? Okay. So, starting, let's go back to the beginning, source, right? So, I say that source is a point in time, and many things have happened since then. We can't go back. We're not going to go back to all being one. It's just not going to happen. Basically, all souls would have to choose to like go out of existence for there to only ever be one again. So, Kobe says fasting will help. Yes, fasting will definitely help as well. If any time that you are not putting things in, your body can use that time to actually heal you. And most people have just constantly eating, like constantly in a state of feasting, and their body never gets a rest. So it's like storing up all of this junk food, and it can never process it, like the entirety of it out. So yes. Anyways, there is an ongoing debate about the original form of the soul, and I have made a whole video about this before. Some say that it is Nakash snake-like, and others say that it is more of a dragon. And I think that it takes different forms over time. But there's an allegation that outside of this world is basically like a world of worms. Yeah, that wasn't really what I was going to be focused on, but I just like picturing like a big pile of worms, like all gathered around like a snow globe with us inside watching us. Like there's some that have slithered to the outer, like they're trying to get as far away from this Truman Show as they can. But yeah, anyways, so I personally don't like demonize, like I don't demonize reptilians, which includes dragons or Nakash or any of this stuff. because all of these species have free will, and many of our souls were physically in those forms before in previous lives. And if the original form of the soul is, a snake, a nakash, a worm, or it starts as the worm and can take different shapes, and ultimately, like, the ultimate form is like this dragon. How are you going to sit there and demonize dragons, like, if you are a dragon? Like, anyways, it's a complex subject because dragons are known for eating humans, but humans are known for eating other species. So it's like everyone that has a human-based perspective, let's put that off of the table for now, because, like, I don't have a human-based perspective anymore. Anyways, I didn't really mean to get off of a tangent about that, but so Sophia is the one that we refer to when we talk about Mother Earth. And the first place that I found out about Sophia was actually due to Lilith, thank you, who pointed me at Proverbs 8, which is talking about Sophia. I'm having so many issues here. Okay. The Proverbs talks all about Sophia, about how finding her wisdom. Sophia means wisdom. She is a goddess seeking wisdom, and that's ultimately why she does what she does. That's why she is this reality. That's why, like, people want to say that the purpose of this is for enlightenment. And this is kind of one of the things I want to talk about today, about the reincarnation cycle. Like, you'll find a lot of yogis that are teaching you that, you are stuck in this cycle until you attain so much enlightenment, and then you escape the reincarnation cycle, right? That's like the most common teaching that goes along with reincarnation. That's not what you're going to hear today. So, Sophia is seeking wisdom, and that's why she does what she does. But she is hidden in the Bible. There's a lot of occult truths, not only in the Bible, but in every religious text, right? They're occult meaning hidden. There's like usually a profane meaning and then an occult meaning. And you know how those ruling our world like to have these hidden, and they think that, like, well, they know that they're smarter than us, right? Because they know the real meaning when we're taking the profane meaning. But anyways, Proverbs 8. It starts off with saying, "Does not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way, in the places of the pass. She crieth at the gate and the entry of the city, and at the coming in of the doors." So she's everywhere calling out to man. When they say man, they're not saying specifically as the gender, they're talking about humans, right? It's not like this message is only for men, this is for all of us. And Sophia is basically, calling out, "Oh, ye simple, understand wisdom. How long are you guys going to wallow in darkness? And, why don't you care about the truth?" So wisdom is better than rubies, and all of the things that may be desired are not with it. And actually talks about how the Lord possessed in the beginning of his ways before his work of old. I was set up from everlasting for the beginning. From the beginning I was before the earth. And the Lord, what did it say here? I really like how it says, "I was his daily delight. I was with him as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. Hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord." But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. That's really interesting. He that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul, especially because there is a demonization agenda going on with Sophia. Baphomet is actually an occult symbol for Sophia. She is all physical matter, so she is, animals and humans. She is male and female. She is the good and the bad, the light and the dark. She is the beautiful and the ugly. She's everything, right? So they have this occult symbol, and Satanists have latched onto it as their mascot, if you will, for basically raping children, grooming children, and all of that. It's been unfortunately used because Sophia is seeking wisdom, they try to use the justification that by doing the evil things that they're doing, they're providing her with a form of wisdom, right? She is not saying, I only want wisdom that is light. She is saying, I want wisdom, period. Okay, so she's not specifying whether she wants wisdom that comes from either one, right? And the whole concept, if you see Westworld, where a soul is choosing to come into, and you can either choose like the black side or the white side, and that's your intent to go into the game, right? There are souls that come in here to play for the dark side, and those are the ones that have sold their soul to Satan, right? They're the ones that come in as inverts. They literally choose to come into families that will invert them so that they can be famous, so that in the Disclosure Now group, I'm having a discussion about being a music lover, and it's hard because I know that I am being entertained by demons in disguise, and I still love music. I don't know, some of these souls have been reincarnating into the same characters, right? Like your favorite musician likely has been that in multiple lifetimes, because they keep coming back and playing these same roles, just like I can't really speak for you because I don't know. I can only speak for myself. I know that I come back and play I go down the same path every time. Like, my soul wants to purify, and ultimately I want to be a mom. Like, really, that's the bottom line, is that I want to be a mom. That's what drives me, and this world isn't safe for babies. So I know that if I were to walk away from engaging in the war with the darkness that's going on, and just focus on only being a mom, the likelihood of my child being taken by these monsters is extremely high. Like, we have to make the world safe first, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not, I don't know, people misjudge my intent, and it really does come from a place of wanting a safe place to have a baby. That's all. Okay. Sorry, my keyboard's a little bit wet and I can't. Why isn't this working? It's not moving. Okay. Oh no! Okay, here we go. I'm having some issues with my computer. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to think about. There's some more I wanted to. David said, "Let's not enlighten to the world of worms." So outside of Sophia is the cosmic ocean, right? So the whole song about us being in this yellow submarine, the submarine is inside the cosmic ocean. So you kind of get the occult meaning behind it. And it's a yellow submarine because it's made out of pure gold. If we had the right temperatures and we could blast this with extreme heats, like I can't even tell you what actual temperature, but if we blasted this with extreme temperatures, the color actually would all go out of it, and it would go from being very like soft to the hardest thing, even harder than diamonds, harder than anything that they say is the hardest thing, right? And that's why Yah used it for the firmament, right? Because it's not only the hardest substance to hold up all of that water, but it's see-through. So we can see the stars, the watchers can see us. Like, it needs to be a clear thing. People try to say that it's like sky ice. That's really silly, because ice would have to be really, really thick to be that strong. And the thicker it is, the less transparent it is. So I don't know how the sky ice people justify all of like being able to see the stars and stuff. Yeah, but it's definitely a hoax. Yeah, so outside of this, the cosmic ocean, Sophia is the one that decided to become this realm. And I don't believe that there have been any other ones. And I believe that her staying in existence and us having a, I want to say game, but there's like souls on the line. So it's not like a flippant thing when I say game. But it's like all of these souls are, existing, and outside of this reality, you have different powers. You're not limited by this stuff. And if you think about these souls that live a long time, they're gonna get bored. Like, there's only so much that you can do, and you need some form of entertainment, right? And this realm gives us that. We're able to get away from that, able to come in and get our minds wiped and forget about everything else and experience life from a baby, right? A baby doesn't come in with any any remembering of those things from before. Usually, they definitely come in more connected. But yeah, it definitely helps keep souls sane that we have this world to experience. And that is one of the reasons that I fight for it to continue existing. When we get more into the reincarnation discussion, it can become a little bit depressing because, well, I don't believe that the cycle ends. I don't believe that we are here to, I don't believe that there's a certain point where there's like, okay, let me just rephrase this. So for you as a soul, you can decide at any time that you don't want to reincarnate, right? But this physical reality is going to keep going as long as Sophia wants to continue existing. And, if good souls basically say, oh, I want to reach enlightenment and, become this pure thing and just basically screw off to the higher dimensions, the dark souls are going to be the ones that come in and take over. And Sophia will tolerate being darkness, being a clown world, like, before we started waking up, everything's still kind of a clown world, but the inverts running everything, like, everything is a joke on humans. And she'll tolerate that for a little while, but if that was all that there was, if there was not ever any light at the end of the tunnel for her to be something truly amazing that she could be proud of being, you think that she's proud of being inverts? Really? Do you really think that she's proud of being a dude in a dress? I don't know how anybody could be proud of that. But anyways, my point is that she needs like a light at the end of the tunnel, and those of us who choose the white hat, who choose to come in to fight for the light, if we all stop and say, okay, we've reached enlightenment or whatever, who's going to come in and fight for the light, But this is a totally different mindset than other people have, right? And they're not seeing this world as...
That's the best book in the world. Where'd you get that?
I got it on Amazon. It is a really amazing book, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been working with this book forever.
Have you?
Yes,
Awesome. Are you local around here?
yes, I'm in Wade.
Okay.
Can I see it for a
Sure.
second? Oh, it's a.
It has all
It's in
three of them.
one.
It has all.
Right.
It has all of them. Yeah, but the first one is the life changing. It's amazing.
We got fast.
Yep.
Wow,
Fasting
I didn't
and
know they had this. I was just not on final. Okay, go on Amazon and find out.
yeah, you can find it on Amazon.
All right, what's your name?
Inanna.
I'm Grace. It makes it simple.
Nice to meet you, Grace. Glad that you like that book. It's life changing.
Can you order me one?
Well, I don't have your contact information, so
I
I
don't
can.
know how to order on Amazon.
Do you have a pen or anything? I don't have any. We could exchange contact information.
All right. Let's see what I don't even know if I have my phone on my. I don't even
If you have a pen, I can write down my number, and then you could, whenever you have your phone, you can send me a message.
Oh, look what she got. Look what she got.
Here. This is what we're talking about.
Oh, ah.
It's all 4 books in one. She's gonna order me one.
Nice. That one.
Her name is Nanana.
Inanna.
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 Nana.
What's your name?
I'm Justin.
Justin, nice to meet you. And Grace. You wanna?
You go to church?
I am the church. I'm the pastor,
Ooh, I
right?
like
I'm
that.
actually live streaming on YouTube right now. I'm preaching.
Well,
None-
tell them
none of the
Grace Divine
pastors-
is here.
None of the
She is
pastors
the
teach
church.
the truth, so they can't even get Genesis 1 right. So they don't have any business talking about the rest of the book to me. That's how I feel about it.
They're all struggling and trying.
Nana.
Inanna.
Nana.
All right, how
I
can
wash my
I do?
hands. I'm
Why don't you give me your phone and I'll put my number in really quick.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
I don't know how to do things on my phone.
You gonna put your passcode in and then okay.
I'm gonna do something.
Are you on social media?
I'm
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm live streaming on YouTube now too, so you can find me on either one.
She's a church.
Inanna Snow.
So, she's right. She's talking.
Perfect. And it's under an honest no. I shouldn't have clicked back so many.
What happened?
I don't know. My bad.
Snow. Okay, see, I'm right there under snow. In honest snow.
Okay.
Then you.
Badass last name.
Thanks.
You live here?
I do.
All right.
Yep.
No, I've been studying these things since probably way before you were born.
Wow. Okay.
I used to do a lot of fasting,
That's awesome.
grow
In the
sprouts.
middle of healing me.
Awesome. The Gospel of the Holy 12. Have you read that one? That's the one that actually changed my life and brought me into the Essenes. It's not in this one. It's a separate book, but I can hook you up with, like, I can show you where to get these things too.
All right,
So
well, we'll get together, okay?
awesome. I look forward to it.
All right, I'm gonna go to you.
It's nice to meet you guys. Thanks.
I'll be here, dear.
I gotta make it to the bathroom.
Okay. We're worms, humans eat babies of other species, yes. David Lilith did woke me up to Sophia, yes. And we won't spend too much time focusing on that because ultimately we can be enemies or we can be friends. I would rather us be friends and make the golden age happen rather than focusing on petty squabbles. Like, I have bigger things to focus on, and I'm not going to let anybody get in my way, like, of creating the world that I'm here to create. So that's all I have to say about that. David, wisdom. Why continues to exist? Wisdom. Why she takes the abuse? Wisdom. Why she is. Yep. They do evil on altars to her, so that makes her evil? No. They make her mad with their evil. Yep. Kobe, we'll have to talk about Lilith in a different video. Inverts get everything in this world, all the money, fame, power, everything. Yes. Sage says E4 ... blunder checkmate 137 moves. That's funny. Well, E4 was the blunder. B3. David says, if you walk away, we are lost. Yeah. Kobe says I'm glitching. Hopefully the internet isn't too bad now. Okay. Anonymous says I am the church. Yes, the gospel of the Holy 12 is life changing. So, okay, so let's go back to Sophia then. Like I said, the first time that I heard about Sophia was actually in Proverbs 8. And like I said, she's talked about all throughout the Proverbs. I actually think that the original Trinity was Father, Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, and us, their child, which is where the Essene Gospel of Peace Book 1 comes in. And I absolutely love this book. It talks about just that, how we can enter into this Trinity with our Father and our Mother. And it also goes into more detail about how Sophia is, against Satan, and how she can heal you of, they go into the laws of the mother, and it basically, if you fail to keep any of her laws, you're going to do harm to your body, and you'll be utterly lost in your grievous sicknesses, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For I tell you, unless you follow the laws of your mother, you can in no wise escape death. And he who clings to the laws of his mother, to him shall his mother cling also. She shall heal all his plagues, and he shall never become sick. She gives him long life and protects him from all afflictions, from fire, from water, from the bite of venomous serpents. For your mother bore you, keeps life within you. She has given you her body, and none but she heals you. Happy is he who loves his mother and lies quietly in her bosom. I love that picture of like a baby actually like with their head in their mother's chest and laying there. Like you can go outside into the ground and have that same type of experience. A lot of people focus on the actual electrical type aspect of grounding, and they don't take into consideration the spiritual aspect. Just like I said, when you lay a baby on you and you have that skin to skin contact, the mother's love and that healing energy comes into play. It's not just like a physical or a chemical type thing. For your mother loves you, even when you turn away from her. And how much more shall she love you if you turn to her again? I'm going to get a little teary right here. I tell you truly, very great is her love, greater than the greatest of mountains, deeper than the deepest seas. For those who love their mother, she never deserts them. As the hen protects her chickens, as the lioness her cubs, as the mother her newborn babe, so does the earthly mother protect the Son of Man from all danger and from all evils. Okay. I love that. The whole concept of being separated from our mother, growing up in mainstream Christianity, it's very patriarchy focused, and there is no maternal aspect of it. They basically say that God is both, and I do agree that God has. They like to label aggression as male and like compassion as female, right? So in those human labels, when we are attributing gender to these qualities, in that aspect, God does have both, right? He's not an unbalanced soul. And I think that God has tried to be as perfect as possible. I don't believe that any souls are perfect, but I think that he does his best to be good and align with those qualities. So for that, I definitely, defend him, but I don't believe any souls are perfect. So a lot of people put God and other things on pedestals and give them impossible standards and hold them to those standards, and I just don't agree with that. So All right. David says, burn out all impurities. Gold becomes transparent and hard, not soft. Yep. Sophia needs hope. She is suffocating. Yes. We must purify so she can breathe. Yes. All right. So, the Essene Gospel of Peace, available free online. So, it also was saying about how Sophia and her angels stand against Satan. So, a classic case of demonizing your enemies. So, they put out all of this stuff that demonizes the mother, demonizing the light bearer, demonizing anything good, then they can get us to, go against those things in their manipulation tactics, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to think of how I want to intro back because I want to talk more about the Djinn and in the video that I talked about the immortality of the soul from the Clementine homilies, it goes into details about how our actions basically bind us to demons. So, when we are doing things that they like, it's like a friendship, right? If you and your friend go out to dinner together, you're strengthening that bond. It's a bond, it's binding that you have between you. And when you're doing these activities, it strengthens it, right? Or you could just completely neglect that friend, and that binding will get looser over time, naturally. It's the same thing that happens with demons and the sinful activities that we partake in. So when you're going to eat the flesh, these demons, there are demons that just love the smell of flesh. So when you're cooking that bacon and you're like saying bacon yourself, those demons are saying that too. Like they are flocking to you because you are doing something that entices them, that draws them in. They like the smell of bacon flesh because they like the smell of human flesh. And it's like they're pretty much very, very similar. They say bacon's the closest thing you can eat to eating human flesh. The smell has always repulsed me. I don't know how anybody can like it, but yeah. Okay. So for demons, having power by means of the food given to them are admitted into your bodies by your own hands. So this is specifically talking about food, which is, if you think about the average human, they wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, eat lunch, go home, eat dinner, maybe a snack, go to bed. Like the average human, the majority of their sin is actually coming from what they eat, because how many times a day are they going and killing animals? Like, so that's the majority of what humans do. The average human never actually does anything noteworthy. If you imagine the Truman Show and you turn it on and Truman did that, he wakes up, he eats breakfast, he goes to work, eats lunch, goes home, eats dinner, goes to bed. It's like, how long would you keep watching that show? It's going to be really boring after a while. And that's the average human. So I would definitely encourage you to rock the boat and, give them something to be entertained by. Even going out and like trying to flat smack somebody or tell them the truth of our reality in other areas, like you're giving them at least something that's entertaining. Rather than being a bore. Okay. For the demons, having power by means of the food given to them are admitted into your bodies by your own hands, and lying hid there for a long time, they blend with your souls. And basically, when you are leaving your body, if you want to go to heaven especially, you have to go through this. You have to go through something that detaches you from that demon, because the demon's attached to your soul. You can't go up if that demon is latched to you. You have to separate in some manner. So that's where, going vegan and fasting and stuff now comes into play, because you can start to weaken those binds that you have with those demons, so that on the other side, it doesn't hurt as much when you go through that purification fire, because it's going to hurt a lot. You don't have any pain receptors to turn it off. So you're going to be suffering, and that demon's going to be literally in a heaven, because they are of flame, and it's
There you are.
demons on average do not see themselves as the bad guys. So let's actually just transition into talking about, I don't even like that word transition now that inverts have ruined it. So humans are only the most recent of species created by Yah. There have been other species that were center stage, like right now we're the focus, but before us there were, reptilians, and people have a really weird view of what reptilians are, but when I say it, I mean like reptiles, like a dragon would be a reptilian. And they talk about, having large piles of gold in Switzerland, I think, and I just picture a dragon laying on a pile of gold, right? Like that's something that's realistic. And they did exist before us. They still exist, just hiding from humans for various reasons. But not only dragons, but Nakash, and what we're mainly focused on is the Djinn, who are these beings of smokeless fire. They were one of the very earliest creations. From what I have been channeled, it was basically like God created the angels first, and they are like beings of light and extensions of himself in the world. So how he can interact with things. And then the Djinn were the next species, and they were made out of smokeless fire. And being a very early creation, God's kind of, I do not mean this disrespectfully in any manner at all, but he's using a new medium, right? So it's kind of like a baby discovering something, like Legos for the first time. First of all, the Legos that you give the first baby is going to be bigger than the ones that, when you are older, you get more intricate Legos that are tinier. You can build a lot more, like, different things. But at the beginning, our creator made things bigger, including the Djinn, which are giants, genie, genius, genetics. They have all throughout our language, themselves hidden in plain sight. But God basically made these with pretty much godlike qualities, abilities. Magically, they're able to shapeshift. They're able to live an extremely long time. Like pretty much, if they have a physical reality to exist in, they can keep living from the point that they were born. So it's like a human. At best, you're probably gonna maybe see 1,000 years. Like if you were born at the beginning of the golden age, you might be able to live to the end of the golden age for 1,000 years. Whatever. But the Djinn live so much longer than that. I can't even put a number to it because God didn't give that. They're like made of smokeless fire. They don't have an aging process. They don't have this physical vessel with all of the different issues that we have with these things, right? Aging and having to eat. Well, we don't really have to eat, but anyways, my point is that the Djinn don't have these things. They can live for pretty much ever, and compare that to humans. And let's not take a limited human perspective. Like, if you weren't a human, which do you think is going to be the cooler species? Like, you got a species over here that's made of smokeless fire, that can shapeshift, that can live for ever, that have magical abilities to, when you think of a genie, right? And then you have humans that are like eating Tide Pods. Okay, that was a little bit of an extreme example. I actually really do love humans, like the intricate parts of our body, like the highways of blood to and from our heart, and little babies are so stinking cute. Like, I love humans, so don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, objectively speaking, I mean, Djinn can literally shift into human form, so it's like, for a species like the Djinn to be center stage and then have this experience where God creates humans that they see as inferior, not only creates them, but says, all right, Djinn, we're going to push you guys out of the way. You guys have to be hidden now. And we're going to put the humans that you think are so inferior to you center stage. And we'll see how that see what happens. Right? Well, Sophia is here for wisdom. So everybody, all these different souls coming in and interacting inside of this physical world is bringing her all sorts of different types of wisdom, right? You're of course going to have all the dull humans, the majority that just go to sleep, go to work, eat, sleep, go to work, repeat type stuff. But you definitely have some outliers. And you also have those that came in for the dark side that, you know, almost kind of live to entertain, right? Like if you think of these souls that sold out to literally be our entertainers, they're living to entertain in their own ways. So, yeah, kind of getting off into a little bit of a tangent. Reel it in a little bit. Okay, so the Djinn are pushed out of the way for this, what they see as an inferior species. You know, you can, like, even from your limited human perspective, you would be jealous. You would have some issues with that, right? If something, I almost wanted to give like an example of like a farm animal or something being center stage and humans getting pushed out of the way, and how you would feel if like a rock or a blob or something was put into God's focus over you. So you can kind of connect with their feelings and understand that there is some spiteful aspects, some jealousy that come into play. A good friend sent me a teaching on the Djinn, and it was really funny because the Muslim preacher basically said that the reason that Djinn dislike humans is because humans have intellect and Djinn don't. And I just had to laugh really hard at that because as awesome as humans are, our creator didn't really focus on making us the smartest. He focused more on like innocence and trusting and the qualities of a baby, getting away from predatorial features. So for them to say that the reason that Djinn don't like humans because of intellect is really, really hilarious. But there are a lot of false teachings out there about the Djinn and about our reality in general. So, anyways, yeah, the Djinn are out of our vision range. Like we're not able to see them naturally, so they're all around us. They're watching, and that can definitely make some people freaked out. I did want to mention a little bit about magic as well. Magic and the signs and symbols and colors and all these things, it's a tool that can be used for good or bad. Like a hammer in itself isn't bad, but you can use the hammer to do good or evil. And it's the same thing with signs and symbols and the numbers and stuff that the powers that be use, right? They'll have the majority of the truthers that are like, oh no, they're having one eye symbolism and paint everybody as evil when that's not what the original meaning of the symbol means. It's been used for evil. So righteous judgment is definitely necessary, and there are witches that will associate different deities in their practice. There's tons of different deities out there, obviously. Like, just research some ancient cultures and you'll see how many different gods and goddesses that they've listed out. But there are others that don't. See you later. Nice to chat with you.
Yep. Take care.
Yep, you too. So it just threw me off a little bit. What was I saying? Hey, the plain truth, how's it going? If you haven't been seen Waking Life, it's an amazing deal. I have not heard of it before. Let me just check it out. Okay, David G says that dragons love to pile, well, presumably dragons, they love to pile gold up, take it from humans, but it's not just dragons, but other, species. And then they give us, paper money with no value. They want to snatch up and hold on to everything that's real and give us everything that's fake so that we have a completely fake reality and laugh as humans actually think that it's fake. Or, think that it's real. David says God is in an impossible position. Humans are needed for wisdom, regardless of Djinn jealousy. So Jelly Djinn turned humans into corrupt clowns. Yep. So I should start off all humans, right? Some humans are vegans. Some humans are animal abusers. You can't just say evil, just like you can't say all humans are evil, because that's just not the truth. And there are groups of Djinn that believe that they are, the good guys, and they were pushed out of the way for a species to come in that acts like a parasite to the mother, that hurts the animals and does all this stuff, right? And they set out to basically encourage that kind of behavior. They every decision-making process that you have this little demon whispering in your ear, trying to influence you to do the wrong thing. And we have a whole society that's like, bars and strip clubs and all this stuff. I'm not like talking negatively about bars, but I'm just saying the stuff that brings out the worst in humans is promoted very freely, and the stuff that actually purifies your soul is non-existent. So, well, I shouldn't say it's non-existent, because the Essene texts definitely have, see you later, definitely have worked to purify, but there are some Djinn that really just, whether the human is good or bad, they hate humans, right? But there are other Djinn that, the human's doing bad, and so they're like, yes, we'll go and be the karma for that human, right? In my opinion, if you want to pretend like you're playing in the circle of life and that you are some big bad predator, then another predator coming along and making you their prey, it's the circle of life. Am I supposed to shed tears over you? Like, I don't see things from a limited human perspective. So it's like, if you are a hunter and you go out in the woods and you get eaten by a lion, don't expect me to shed any tears for you. I'm going to be cheering for the lion, because the lion got the karma for all of the animals that you have been terrorizing. You went out there with ill intent, and people want to try to compare being non-vegan to lions. It's like, I have never seen a lion go and roll around in deer piss and wait around for a deer to come by and go attack it. Like, that's what you pitiful, pathetic humans do. Like, putting deer pee on yourself? What kind of disgusting savage are you? That is degenerate. Disgusting. You're not a predator. You are a broken clown. Calm down a little bit. This is actually what the world needs, is more vegans that speak out, because you being vegan, that's amazing. I commend you 100%, but you need to also go one step further and be a voice for the voiceless and actually do something, or else the world's not going to change. Like, don't fear being a preachy vegan that people hate. Like I've said before, like, you don't like me because I preach about veganism. I don't like you because you eat animals, you monster. Like, I don't care if you don't like me. Hey, J Star James, how's it going? How have you been recently? I have been doing well, thank you. Trying to stay away from the mud pit that's around my house. If they keep turning it more mud, like, I don't know, everything's gonna sink into the earth. I am at the High Low Cafe, which is right across the street from Ellie's, where I normally go. But I thought it would be a little bit easier to record here today, and I've actually got interrupted more here today than I normally do. So David D says they always want to compare themselves to lions, but they are no predator. They scavenge dead, rotting flesh like zombies. Yes, that prepackaged flesh that you go eat, like that is not what a predator does. Okay, that's what it's really going vegan changes so much in your perspective. Like, not like eating these animal bits and pieces and gathering animal bones and putting them into water to make a broth to eat that, like it is so evil and demonic, and people don't register that. It's like when you're in these cultures you don't get it, but once you go vegan it completely changes your perspective on how evil these things are. Having like a freezer full of animal flesh, that is demonic. You are inviting demons into your house. You are consenting for them to come in and mess with you. And going vegan also really changes your perspective on humanity, because you are trying to promote compassion and protecting helpless animals. And some of the deranged beings that have tried to fight for animal eating, it's like I can understand the Djinn perspective when they say humans are demons, because the average human literally is a monster. If you were to take a poll, like a tally, like, you know, hey, everybody, let's get your opinions, and you take a tally of all of the souls under the dome, mostly the animals, right? Like, how many of them are compared to humans? They have to have an extremely large amount of animals to supply the humans their food. See you later. All right. Tally up the opinions of the animals of who the real demons are, and they're going to say humans, and they're going to say the Djinn who come and afflict you, who come and torture the humans, that is their heroes. So I would definitely encourage people to take a step back and not take such a limited human perspective. And another thing that I wanted to mention, a good friend and I were discussing Djinn essentially, and she's talking about how, you know, they can basically, you know, mess with you in your sleep and all of this stuff. And I said, obviously, there are different ways that you can deal with, you know, a demon messing with you, right? Most people are just like, let's block it out, like get away from me, immediately putting up walls and using their energy to block it out. The other option that you have is to actually ask the entity why they are there. It's like the demons are a lot smarter than you, and they know that you know, karma is real, and there's a sort of code of conduct that, like, you consent and they come in and do something. They don't, like, if they were to act, if you're just an innocent little baby and you never did anything wrong, if they come sideways at you and they attack you, like, then they could get in trouble. There would be bad karma owed to them. But if you're a little baby who's eating babies, it's primarily, like I said, again, back to the main sin that humans partake in is their diet. So if you're a little baby that's eating babies and you're doing other things, then that gives the demons justification to come and do bad unto you, because you have done bad unto others. So that's exactly how it works. And they work within these mechanisms for the most part. Like I said, there are some demons that, you know, they're really, they hate humans, and they might take bad karma for messing with you, but that's not the average case. So there's usually always a reason that they are messing with you that you are consenting to. So finding out what that reason is, rather than just slamming the door and saying get away from me, is, you know, an option that I would lean towards encouraging. I know that is not what you're going to hear in church, but hey, is any of this stuff what you're going to hear in church? Rick Rhodes, hey, how's it going? David D says bone broth is literally demonic magic. Yes, it is. Going around and picking up bones to put in a. It's just I can't even. I think actually even as an animal eater, I was creeped out by bones. Like I never could eat like a chicken off of bones. Um, the whole thing is disgusting to me now. Even just the flesh, even some of the vegan products are just too much like flesh for me. I am really proud of myself. Ever since Wednesday. Hey Joe, how's it going? Um, Ever since Wednesday, I have been doing really good on my diet. I told you that I wanted to make some New Year's resolutions and purify my diet, and I've had a lot of setbacks to making that happen. But once I actually was able to start, I have done really good since then. I haven't technically. So what I've been basically eating is a salad, a large salad with lettuce, carrots, cucumber, apple, pretty much that. And then throughout the day, I basically just been munching on this carrots with this cashew cheese that I make. So there was some vegan butter in that, and the cashews weren't raw in the first batch, but otherwise, I've been completely raw other than those things. So I'm really proud of myself. Like I haven't eaten any spaghetti. I'm gonna call my mom today and be like, Mom, guess what I'm not eating today? It's spaghetti. She's gonna be like, oh my gosh. Oh, just kidding. But I really do eat a lot of spaghetti. So, well, I did. And there's sugar high, those feel good mechanisms that are immediately gratified when we are eating these things, when we're eating sugar that we're not going to get. If you go keto vegan, you can have sugar substitutes. They're not going to give you that same sugar high. And, from there's obviously the chemical aspect of it, which you're going to have either way. But a lot of the sugar, mainstream white sugar, is actually like processed through bones and other, body parts to make it white, to get it on your table. And that is going to be adding its own death element to it, right? So you're literally eating death. And we're intended to, thrive off of delicious sweet fruits. And how many of us got ruined as children by all these sweet things in the world? Yeah. So I know that going keto vegan is hard, and it's going to be really hard, but I want you to live. I want you to be a part of the golden age future. And even if the doctors say that you have something that's terminal, it can't be healed, like they're liars, they don't know any better. The only thing they know is what big pharma taught them. Like think of yourself when you went to school, right, to learn any subject. You sat there and the person at the front of the class told you what to think, right? The doctors are no different. They don't have anything that's like special divine revelation. They're only repeating what they were told in school, which is from big pharma, which is chop humans open, go in and like take part of their, arteries from their thigh and put it into their heart, like these abomination Frankenstein, like that actually is light compared to the actual Frankenstein procedures that they do with some of the, the inverts that choose to do bottom surgery. I would definitely. Part of me says I would encourage you to go and watch the videos of them doing bottom surgeries of inverts, but part of me says you're going to be scarred for life. But if that getting scarred for life prevents you from ever encouraging anybody to live in that lifestyle, go do it. I don't know how anybody could ever be okay with their child living if you had a son and he literally came home with fake boobs and his penis turned outside in. You encourage your son to try to be something that he can never be, and he literally chopped his penis up and turned it outside in. You can never, you can't go back from that. And that's what you're encouraging your child to do. And I mean, I can't even say which procedure is more abominable, because what they try to do for like a female to male by trying to create something, I don't even want to get into this. It makes me want to vomit. But I was watching a video of, they actually have like a device to help the female to male, it's like a pump that they insert into their fake body part that they can literally pump up to have an erection. Like, you want to just, like, I'm sorry, that's just like a mood killer in the whole the whole situation is just, I don't know, it's just so disturbing to me, and I can't support anybody doing any of those lifestyles. Like, that's insanity, and you need to speak out against it, because we're living in a world where darkness is in control, and if we continue to allow it to be in control and we tolerate it, if we are tolerating and staying silent when there are drag monsters doing story time at your library, like, they're going to keep going. They're going to keep grooming children until that is the status quo. And then, if you come against them at that point, like, I don't even know how far down the line they'll get with it, but it's like they could potentially even have laws that protect them, right? They have TED Talks even that are normalizing pedophilia, and there's a lot of, didn't they recently relabel like minor attracted persons? But it wasn't that, it was, they did do that, but it was something even further, that they were trying to normalize being attracted to children. It's like, if we allow it and stay silent, then it's just going to continue. And that's the same thing with veganism. If we just, oh, well, I'm a vegan, but, whatever they're doing, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing is going to change. So I encourage you to speak out and be that annoying vegan. Trust me, you're not going to ever be like worse than I have. Like, when people think of militant vegan, they're like, that girl is nuts. Like, she might, I already told you, I will fight, kill, and die over this. Like, this is something I take very seriously. So no matter what they say about you, you can always be like, at least I'm not as crazy as her. Which actually I don't feel is a good thing. Like, if you're not willing to fight, kill, and die for the innocents, you're a coward, and you should get out of my face. Anyways, David D says you are going today. Ah, yay, thank you. J Star says, can you share your secrets for your clear, as I don't want to say any swear words, my clear skin? I actually have always naturally had more clear skin. I know people that, have had acne issues their whole lives. I generally haven't. But it really is related to your diet and purifying your diet. Like, we're constantly putting in like acidic things, different forms of poison that are going to cause different reactions. And that is one of the things that it causes. They actually have some interesting things online that says like what your acne says about you, and like different placement that might be associated with different issues like dietary or other things. I definitely am not an expert on that, but it's interesting nonetheless. And if you purify your diet, you're ultimately going to fix everything. So yes. I also wanted to mention next Friday, or this coming Friday, I guess I should say, I am planning on doing a Friday night date night video, probably around 8 o'clock. So I did want to let you know ahead of time that will be happening. Hopefully you will join me. I'll probably I might launch the premiere here on YouTube and on Facebook as well, so that more people can join in the fun. David says, sugar isn't even vegan. Most vegans ignore this and still eat it in everything. Yes. In, even your breads, they might not have any non-vegan ingredients on it, but the sugar in it most likely isn't vegan. Dressings, I'm not really sure what other, like, pretty much anything they put in sugar, yeah, it could be non-vegan. David D says, if you have cancer, they will kill you with their chemo, radiation, and body chopping. Go vegan, keto, and actually live. Yes. I've talked before about, like, going through that torture of chemo and radiation too, and like basically there are obviously people that come through fighting, but who wants to live a life of misery and being sick all the time and having to be radiated and all that nonsense? Cass says it's always best to just eat whole foods. Exactly. And before I went vegan, I really wasn't into cooking, and I mean, I did very little cooking. It was mostly like box stuff. I really prefer to eat out. I mean, I guess I kind of have mixed feelings because I'm like, ideally in a world I could go out to eat every night and like have other people, make the food. People that love to cook, like they should be the ones that are cooking, and I'll pay them well to do it. Like, and so everybody's happy, right? But on the other hand, I also definitely want to have like homemade meals and cooking with my children, which I also want them to be raw vegan. So it's kind of like I have a little bit of a conflicting vision at this point of what I want. But I do want the convenience of having the Queen's Kitchen like take over McDonald's and have at first we're going to have humans doing things. The powers that be do have AI created, but the golden age doesn't just like snap our fingers and everything's like completely different, advanced, golden age type stuff. So when I do start the Queen's Kitchen, I'm going to find people that, there are people out there that actually legitimately love serving and do a great job at it. There are like I actually do love serving myself, but I don't love serving in a setting where it's my job, where customers are rude and all this stuff. Like, I don't like that at all. But when you come up to my full moon celebrations, I'm just like, what can I give you? Like, I have a servant's heart. I love that. But my whole point was in saying that, I'm going to find people that want to work in the Queen's Kitchen and do this. Like, there has to be actual people on the ground willing to work towards the better world. And that's, the whole concept of reincarnation that's taught to us is, coming and you cycle until you reach enlightenment, then you leave. I'm saying this reality is something that our souls continue to choose to come into. There is, I don't want to say there's like no end of the cycling, but it's like as long as Sophia wants to continue, there are going to be souls like mine that come in here to fight for the light. If we don't come in here to fight for the light, it's like it's just going to continue to get darker and darker. And this world provides entertainment for us. It, outside of this world, we don't get to have all of the fun that you experience when you're falling in love, the physical fun, the pleasure of eating food. I really look forward to like the whole thing of pregnancy, of like, feeling a baby kicking inside of me and all of like the joys and the pains that come with being a mom. You don't get that outside of this realm. Like, there are like soul families, but you're not going to get the experience of eating a delicious vegan cheeseburger or being with a girl. Or I mean, I'm talking to guys when I say that. I'm not promoting girls and girls. I actually obviously never been with a girl, and I really don't see the draw. Like, I really enjoy sex the way that God intended for us to be having sex, as in a male and a female, like actually in love. And sex is something that, I don't get. There's like a meme that says, comparing eating vegan substitutes to having, like sexual substitutes. I'm like, they're not the same. They're not the same as actually having like a man. So that's not what I meant. But you don't experience these things outside of this realm. So that is one of the many perks. And kind of what just popped into my head was that, there are souls that don't want to go to heaven. They come here because they want to keep doing what they do here that we don't do in heaven, right? A lot of people are programmed by religion to be focused on going to heaven and eternal life in heaven. It's like, all right, well, some souls might like that. Some souls might want to go up there and be in that, I'm not trying to knock the presence of God at all. Like, absolutely, if my soul just feels obligated to come here and fight for the light, like, as great as that might be, to be in that amazing presence of God and peacefulness and all of, the streets of gold and all this stuff, the paradise that he's created, coming onto this earth and creating a paradise on earth and being able to experience not like a Garden of Eden, because we have technology and stuff now, but like experiencing this world, that's what I want. I'm not up there. We can already experience these types of things, but not in this physical reality. So it's definitely a different thing. And what I was actually going to talk about is the inverts. That there are some inverts, different groups, right? Mostly we are designed or programmed to kind of put all of them in the same camp of these evil baby eating, paint them as the worst possible light, right? But there's actually, they have free will. There are actually some that, they're vegan. They try to do good when they're interacting with others. That's what God wants. God wants us to do good and be good and make something that he can be proud of, rather than the clown show that we see. There are some inverts that do try to do good, and they tick all of the boxes of doing right in all of these categories. But when it comes to being an invert, that's what essentially holds them back from going to heaven, because they're not allowed in heaven being an invert. So it's kind of a complicated subject, and a lot of truthers are still seeing things from a limited human perspective, and I think that's sad. Kyle is puking at McDonald's. I know. They say that human DNA has been found in McKid burgers. Yeah. I unfortunately, admittedly, really kind of a little bit lived off of McDonald's burgers for a while. Like, I am not proud of saying that, but I know how addictive they are, and the fact that they like put baby meat in there like makes me just. David says you can only experience physical pleasure in physical matter. Exactly. So that is worth fighting for, in my opinion. Let me get some more hot water. Queen Soul here for war, fight for heaven and earth. Yes, and I actually just keep coming back to the whole concept of our reality having like chess elements built into it. The game of chess being extremely ancient, they want to try to give it, everything is false, right? This false history, and say that like chess was invented. I don't even know. I don't even pay attention to when they say chess was invented, because I don't believe their lies. Chess is so ancient that the literal building of our realm that we are in has chess elements incorporated into it, like the 4 rooks, the 4 towers, the 4 corners, right? The battle between light and dark, like it's literally a game that we are in, a chess game, a live chess game that we are in, where our opponent, right, is making different moves, and then based on our move, he'll recalculate. There's nothing set in stone, as I've said before. There's no set in stone that for sure there's like a fake alien invasion and for sure they're going to take this timeline, because that's not how this reality works. It is, it responds to what we do. So when I keep preaching about veganism and saying if only half of humans went vegan, we could have a golden age, that's because that's how our reality works. It is responsive to us. So if we make checkmating move of going vegan, it's game over. They're working within these karmic mechanisms and enslaving us because humans enslave every other species. Humans deserve to be enslaved. They enslave other species, and inside, you know it. Chess is much older than they tell us. Yes. Kev says I used to live off of Taco Bell 5-layer bleh. Yeah, I kind of almost puked. 5-layer burritos. We all have our ignorant pasts, yes. And I thought I could never give up cheese, go vegan. I'm here to tell you that I make some really delicious vegan cheeses. So, David says, how will the game be played? Well, David, I'm actually hoping to make I wouldn't say a checkmating move, but a really very strong move in the next few days, and try to get the golden age started. I have to keep secrets of what is happening to some extent until it happens, and I have a lot of enemies too, so as soon as I tell them that I'm trying to do something, then they all want to keep it from happening. So if I don't tell them what I'm specifically doing, that's better as well. But I am working on things for the Golden Age, and I have my upcoming chess tournament on next Sunday, actually, the 12th. So I won't be here live at noon. Next Sunday, I will be going live from my chess tournament around 3. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. And like I said as well, I am planning on launching a Friday night date night movie. So I hope that you will tune in for that as well. Let me just think of if there's anything else that I wanted to say about any of these topics. I think I kind of covered everything that I wanted to discuss today. I am going to go home and play with that square off AI chessboard that I have. It's really, really fun. And yeah, I will catch up with you on Facebook. If you have any other questions or topics that you want me to make videos on, please do reach out and let me know. I appreciate that you are here today with me, and just want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. I think I touched our base. So, all right, I will catch up with you on Friday. So stay tuned. May God and the Goddess bless you.